What's up, gods and goddesses in training? Welcome back to the channel. It's Uncle Makara. Today we're talking all about the understanding of spiritual dating. Okay, this is something that I came across which was quite different because it came from a different level of understanding. When I started to look at my past relationships as character development, it actually changed my perspective of my current character. Also, just understanding that I would have never been able to gone through something like that without spiritual assistance. There was something happening where I knew I was being protected, but I didn't know with what or what exactly was protecting me. And this is kind of what also led me to an understanding around spirituality, because we started to understand that there are such things in this world called dakinis. And if you're familiar with Tibetan Vajrayana Buddhism or Buddhism in general, maybe you've heard of these beings called dakinis or cloud walkers. And of course there's different kinds. There's goddesses, there's demonesses, okay, and in between. But if you look at them, really they are teachers, spirit helpers in a sense. So what if I saw the women in my life impacting my life? It doesn't even have to be like we're in a platonic or a sexual, it's not even that, right? It's just masculine energy interacting with feminine energy. And that's what I think we've got to understand. You see a lot of red pill channels, what I've noticed is they focus a lot on statistics and the left brain. So they're going, oh yeah, the divorce rates are really high, and then there's only 1%, and that's the high value male, or they'll use numbers to stay stuck in their reality. And they will also say things like high value men don't chase, don't pursue, which I don't think makes sense either, okay? All these ideas and we get skewed, but what if we started to focus more on the energy rather than the statistics? Chicas, okay, in the comments, or if you're listening to this, maybe give me a thumbs up on this, that you want a guy to actually pursue you. It shows you as a woman that he's more in his masculine and that he's taking action. He's going after what he wants. He's being decisive. He's leading and planning the relationship in a specific direction, making you feel safe as a woman, relaxing your nervous system around him, being more in your feminine. So as a feminine woman, as you're responding to your man in his masculine polarity, you listen to him, but you take a little bit of time to process what he's saying. So you really hear it with your whole body. You don't logically answer him like in a masculine way, because that's how his bros would answer back, right? A lot of the times. Like, just go fix it, dude, on the surface level. Yeah, just deal with it. We don't have to talk about emotions and stuff. That stuff's gay, or whatever, right? And kind of pushing it away rather than understanding that there is some potential here to explore. So when you think of the word relationships, what comes up for you? There's probably a lot of baggage. If you're thinking of relationship as somebody controlling you, you've got work to do, because you've understood that the reason you wanted to control as a man was because you weren't in your masculine polarity. You didn't feel at your core masculine. That's why you're trying to control, rather than what? Setting a very healthy boundary with the other person. Saying like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is who I am. This is where we're going. And as a woman, if you're trying to control, you're trying to adopt more of a masculine polarity. So you're not naturally being in your own feminine essence. You're trying to take on this other persona to try to over-plan over him. He's not planning, so it must mean that I've got to, over-plan and over-decide and, move forward in that way. I've got to essentially be the man in the relationship. If my man's not doing it for me, I'm going to go do it. All right? That's the energy. But it's also for that man who's in that position feels bad. Why? Because nobody's coming to save you, bro, as a man. I'm sorry, but this is the harsh facts, okay? This is the truth. Nobody is coming over to save you. You have got to dig yourself out of the crevices of the mud and the deep roots of hell and get burned and get back up and shake off the comfort levels and emerge through all of it as a bright glowing aura. So this is how you create pockets of magnetism. One of my main choices in my spiritual path working is the sacral chakra. And why have I picked this in particular? When it's a feminine energy. You see Bruce Lee back there. Was that man feminine in any way? You got to understand that his mentality was the water energy, but he was sharp. Okay? So you got to understand that there is some kind of level of truth and discipline that he's created with his mentality. His fluid mentality created structure in his life. And that sounds like a paradox to some people, but I understand something deeper about this. So the sacral chakra is associated with the water, and you can't catch the water. The water will just move forward all the time. You will understand that it keeps weaving and bobbing and dodging and going through these different portals. So who you might have caught them at in that very specific moment, they're not the same person anymore. They've moved beyond that timelines ago in their mind. You see what I'm saying? So that's how fast you understand the energy of water is, if you're talking about in a spiritual path working sense, okay? It could be that you're, a zodiac water sign. However, I'm speaking more so in terms of what elements you really resonate with, right? So we each have a main element, I would say, sometimes determined by planets, doesn't have to be. And you can then connect with more deities within that element, if that makes sense. So someone with a fire element, it's less likely you're going to work with a lot of water beings. It could be the case that you do. However, I'm just giving you the map, right? It's up to you to read it in a specific way, or just, set up a call with me. Easier to talk, more personable off of YouTube and stuff, You want to emanate a natural energy when it comes down to this thing. This sounds quite silly to certain people who are just coming across this video, but I think it's so key and important. Instead of trying to justify yourself or over-explain yourself, you got to take action. In the moment when you feel threatened, and this is coming from King Jin, I know this because he said this last night in our channeling, okay? If you aren't familiar, we do channel every single Monday. It wasn't an easy energy for me to work with because I'm a water being, and I work with King Nixa, which is the element of water. And so when I channeled him, this morning I had the most blasting headache that you could ever imagine. Like, I was like, whoa, okay? It was that bad. However, I drank a lot of water, a lot of electrolytes in it, a little bit of lemon juice. Okay, chia seeds, let's go. Chia seeds are just for maintenance of my size, a healthy size. I don't like to use the word losing weight, but I am in a process right now. I want to get more lean. So speaking about the sacral chakra path, right? There's certain yogic postures that you can do that will really amplify your sacral chakra. And this helps if you're also in a process of retaining your seed and so forth. And a lot of people know that there's a lot of secrets, man, in the peak performance industry. There's a lot of deep, buried information that you don't really come across a lot. As peak performance shamans on this channel, we figure it out in our own unique way. So, again, I'm not saying the information might be 100% accurate when you're, taking it from this specific realm. But you get the basis of it, you get the understanding of it. And it's actually a very empowering energy, the energy of fire, right? It's like that go, move in. And one of the things that King Jin said is like to burn everything, meaning to merge with everything, to understand that it does not have any control over me because it's a part of me. And yeah, that was really key and powerful. But I liked what King Jin was saying in terms of, I do not even perceive the threats. I think what he was saying is he sees it like as an activation rather than attaining for it. And I think that's such a powerful understanding. Like, imagine you are in public and you're in a social environment, and you just imagine in your visualization you're doing something like flame on, right? Like the Human Torch. And you just go, right? And you're just on fire, and you're speaking to people, and you imagine you're like spreading fire to them. And that visualization can actually take you towards a very specific energy exchange that would take place. Now, if you made yourself all watery, it would change that same interaction. So you see how we're playing with the social dynamics with the elements. This is next level stuff, guys, okay? I'm understanding more and more the power of the energy of the solar plexus becomes almost like a construct around with which the other chakras can play, because we manifest through the solar plexus through action that we take. And when I say solar plexus, I'm referring to the solar plexus chakra, okay, the navel chakra. So in a conscious energy exchange, it's not this cold, dismissive, heartless, hostile, aggressive tone. And of course, that's the ego talking, you know? It happens, it gets triggered, and it comes out in an unhealthy way. But that's not our authentic voice of love, of seduction, of connection, of spiritual connection, right? That's not the language. It's interesting because it's not even about the words. The words can say anything. You're not watching this video because of my words. You're watching it from what is underneath. There's a context. You're on this channel about flow state. I have a master's, right? I'm doing kickboxing. There's a guy who's a character that's slowly being formed through the things that he does and moves and weaves in his life. Like, I'll straight up put on some music and dance, bro. Why? Because I don't give a fuck. I'm maintaining my vibe right now. You gotta get this understanding that this woman in front of me right now, she's in her own little world, right? And I've got to understand that. I've got to read her energy. I can talk about the logic and the step-by-step and use statistics and pie charts to explain shit to her, but I'm not going to. Why? It's like a Martian trying to communicate to a Venetian. The Venetian needs a different language. There's a certain sound in the character in the movie who's caring about their partner in this protective way, right? But in the same scene, you take it differently, and people use the law of assumption incorrectly. Take this particular scene from Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Tell me what you think about this.
So what happened?
All right, you ready? Yeah. So there we are. 9 more floors to write, just me and her.
Hey, Summer.
Hi.
How's your weekend?
It was good.
Can you believe that shit?
I'm sorry, what shit? I think I missed something.
She said it was good, emphasis on the good. She basically said she spent the weekend having sex with some guy she met at the gym. Skank, whatever. I'm over it.
What the hell is wrong with you?
She's not interested in me. There's really nothing I can do about that.
Just because she said it was good.
And some other things.
So in this scene, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is like, I assume she doesn't like me. He said good, and that little good, that little tonality, he overthought, right? So he took that little thought and he stacked it on top of a million other thoughts, thinking, oh, she doesn't like me. Man, oh, yeah, she's probably lesbian. Oh, yeah, she's just with her friends, though, so I can't talk to her. And we come up with all these justifications, rationalizations, you know, reward that we're seeking, some way to keep us in this little loop pattern. So in that moment, you understand that I am not because I am because. I am using the energy of the momentum of the situation to move into it and burn brighter. I'm not trying to dodge and dodge and dodge and dodge all the time. There's some times where I just want to go pow. So attack the negative frequency with a positive frequency. Sometimes you might have to pace their negative energy with a false negative energy, which turns into authenticity. What do I mean by this? Let's say they're like, man, life sucks. Tell me about it. You know, life is just such a terrible these days. I haven't been getting enough sleep. I haven't been doing this right. I haven't been... Yeah, you know what? I get that. That's real as fuck. Thank you for expressing that. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I want to, right now, what I want to tell you, I want to tell you to do something. Or like fix it in some way. But that's just my masculine mind telling me what to do. I honestly want you to know that you're safe and protected. If you need to talk to me more about this, I'm here. I'll be like a good pair of ears or whatever. Understand that, and what I did is I transmuted the energy slowly through my communication. You see? So I started from that negative. I was like, yeah, whatever. And you take the conversation to the place where there's more of a neutrality, right? Because what King Jin was also saying is that the more you keep the argument going, the more rigid and frozen that you become. You become less likely to take any action. So you become more and more and more a bystander till you're like thrice removed. And you're quadruple times removed, right? And then you see the situation and it's so distant from you. So the quicker you take action, the closer you are to the situation. And yeah, that just came through for me right now. I don't know, that was like a very powerful download. Some of you guys got that, some of you didn't. But my brain doesn't rationalize these things, it just expresses freely, you know? So instead of focusing on bullshit measures of metrics, okay? What's your body count? Like, I don't give a fuck, right? You're a human being right now having a human experience with me. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a fuck? It's my private life. That's the thing though, it's like we take this thing so much, we like blow up these things that we do and we take it in our minds and we just expand them into these huge big ass problems when they're like tiny little fleas compared to what? Your potential. You're saying, God, please save me from the storms. I'm saying to the storm, listen, storm, God is on my side. You see the flip of the mindset? You're saying, God, please ease the suffering of my problems. I'm saying to my problems, yo problem, my God is bigger than you. You see what I'm saying? So the energy and the gravitas and the playfulness merging together to create your spiritual path translates into your dating life. Obviously, it's going to translate in some way. I have been matching with more and more fairies. Why? My subconscious mind will pick up this frequency like a magnet. So whatever I hold in my consciousness, that is what will truly emerge. What, again, I'm speaking about King Jin a lot because I was inspired, bro. I was inspired by that energy. And it was a complete opposite to my energy. I'm pretty chill, you know, laid back. But when I understood this energy, I was like, whoa, let's get shit done, right? Let's move forward. That's why I cancel all my plans today and I'm focusing on revising for my exam or studying for my exam. I'm not afraid of saying the word studying. If you guys don't know, it has the word dying in it, I understand, which is a negative word. But again, I'm not going to choose to look at death in a negative way. So I'm going to start using the word studying again. Well, this is my process. This is my journey, how I move with this, okay? So I am actually, what King Jin said, is specifically dying. So stud dying, he's specifically dying to the moment with the character that he's creating. So when he's studying, the new information is overriding the old information, understand? So you have to really pick and absorb and choose the right bits of information that align with your coordinates of your inner philosophy. And that's when you're going to start to move in this thing very differently. What if your exes were your teachers and your gurus? You see what I'm saying? What if your exes were sannyasis? That's wild to me, bro, to think like that. But that's actually such an empowering worldview that this person taught me more how to be a man, calling out my bullshit. Like, that's what the feminine does, bro. The feminine weeds away all the extraneous illusions and tries to focus in on what is real. It tries to. It sometimes floats away, but it tries to understand. That's why when you are a man and you're out of integrity, you're out of alignment with your actions and your thoughts and everything, you start to create like a question mark. You start to create a suspicion in that other person, even though you're not suspicious. Even though you might seemingly have it figured out, you haven't connected the dots yet between your thoughts, words, and actions. Me speaking to a high-level executive, for instance, I wouldn't be dressed like this, obviously, like a gym bro, okay? However, at the same time, I would be able to talk to him. Maybe in the moment, I'll say something ridiculous, or I'll backpedal, or something might happen. But in that moment, I'm still having a conversation with that person. The thing is, I can relate to so many different people on the internet. Because I am you. What the fuck, right? Sumedh Chatterjee is everybody else. Is Fred McGillen, is, Todd Sanchez, is, Bobby Fischer, the chess champion, is everybody. Have you guys ever seen the Jodorowsky's Dune? Oh man, you guys gotta check this out. It's a documentary. They were meant to make this movie of Dune by Jodorowsky. If you don't know Jodorowsky, he has like these amazing, cult classic, like really psychedelic, trippy art films. Holy Mountain being one of them, with that weird symbolism. Fascinating stuff, right? But there's this one scene in that documentary where, this character Paul is going, I am Paul, I am Paul, I am Paul. And all the characters on that whole freaking planet started saying, I am Paul. Shout out to Paul Subaru, bro. He made my old channel's introduction music. I'm inspired. You guys remember that? Anyway, that reminds me, like, when I say I am Sumedh, I'm literally saying every other name in creation with that, because they're just letters. But what is the essence of Sumedh? What is the energy, right? What is that code? Yeah, there's different flavors and incarnations and swagger and so forth. So when you are understanding in a spiritual context, in a tantric context, you charge each other like a battery pack. I get replenished and charged by feminine energy. She gets replenished and charged by my masculine energy. She's surrendering from love. I'm dominating with love. It's a beautiful surrender, discipline, balance, synchrony that's taking place. I mean, the thing is, I can't really pinpoint and define, like, my relationship is like this, because I've, branched out, let's just say. I'm not even going to sit here and pinpoint, like, I want it to be exactly like this. Like, I'm not creating a checklist with this relationship framework in my mind. Again, it's an energy. That's why I've chosen something very archetypical, like the maiden or the fairy. And as I focus my consciousness on that, I start to absorb and bring in more of that energy into my life. This week on Bumble, 4 matches with fairies. Okay? Fairies, I'm not saying like fairies, Fairly Odd Parents or whatever. It's the archetype. It's the starlet. It's the diva energy. It's the energy of creative, Shakti, momentum, fun, bubbly energy. It's difficult to put into words, but fairy kind of explains it, okay? I'm going to tell you the trippiest thing ever in relation to this fairy thing. Because some of you are just thinking, is this guy LARPing? Like, why does he want fairy? Like, that's kind of creepy. Like, isn't that some kind of cosplay shit? Like, what is he? You don't understand. When I'm speaking of this essence, just like let's say you, like a siren. The siren, you know what that word means? It's a mermaid. It goes a layer deeper for you to just understand, yeah, it's just a siren, man, But then once you do your own research, you start to understand that there is another frequency to this, right? The mermaid in a person is going to feel very different. She's going to be very alluring, right? And so the fairy is just another vibe, a genre of that, okay? And personally, I'm very, very excited I've been doing some fairy attunement sessions as well for different women, and that's just been something that's been so empowering. You know what I mean? Like, to help women truly see and find what is working for them. If you want to get rid of any fairy blocks, as I like to call it, let me know, okay? You want to get rid of there's certain blocks in your own archetype or avatar at times. So that's what I help you do, is I'll also help you remove the gunk that is sitting stagnant in the avatar, not really allowing you to step into the character that you truly prefer, okay? That's kind of my specialization with the flow state, mysticism and so forth, and my psychology background, positive psych. Of course, I'm trying to move away from the academic field, man. I've been so enraptured. I'm still doing exams and quizzes, as you guys know, right? and I'm still going through like ICF accreditation and all this other stuff. So right now, I'm just wanting this YouTube channel to blow up, man. And if I can really make this thing a part of my life, that would be such a glorious, beautiful thing. And why the fuck not? Right? Why the fuck not? Because clearly people resonate with this message. It just needs to spread. It just needs to have better reach. But I think the videos speak for themselves. So yeah, man. What I was going to tell you that was trippy, right? So my mother grew up in Shillong. My mother, okay, she grew up in Shillong. I believe that's the Northeast, right? Anyway. She grew up in Shillong in India, right? And when she was a little baby, the nurses of the hospital, hear this out, gave her a nickname of Fairy. Oh, now you understand the fairy linkage. What is really going on here? I found this out recently, and it's another confirmation. So clearly this thing has been sitting in my subconscious because I come from my mother. And I am the son merging back with the mother energy through the woman. Because that's my first instance of feminine energy. Motherfucker. Okay? So this guy understands that there is a secret hidden code within our genome that is not normal. It is mythical. It is mythopoetic. We're living our own myths. Okay, if you need to read a bunch of Joseph Campbell to figure that out, go and do that, okay? But I'm not here to sit here and tell you what to do. These are all permission slips. You know what to do. You're just on here for confirmation, and you got that, bro. I'm giving you 10 times the confirmation that you have right now. Shit. Whatever you're trying to do right now, whatever you're trying to manifest right now, go and do that. Lean into that, because that is going to be your saving grace. That is going to be what is going to move you forward into the future. Man, I'm feeling King Jin's energy. You guys can already tell, right? I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's get it. Spiritual dating. Let me know if you guys want to join one of our programs where we actually pimp out your profiles, right? Tinder, Bumble, etc. If you need help with that, let me know. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang. Let's get it. Spiritual reads. We're all gonna make it. Let's get it. Us.